Hello, everyone. We are back today with another 3x3 training session. This one is with Ava. I think that's how it's pronounced. And we'll get started in just a few minutes once Ava gets here. So today, this one is going to be a half-hour session. But still, I hope you guys enjoy this. Remember, you can go to... Okay, you're having trouble using Google Hangouts. You think you got it? Okay, let's just wait a second. I'll see if you get into the call. Check your email. I sent the link. So for all of you that are watching, remember that if you want to get a session of your own, you can go to the link at the top of the description. At some point soon, I'm also going to set up the Nightbot for this stream, for this channel, so that you can get to a session that way. While we're waiting for Ava to show up, if you guys have any questions you want to ask, now would be a good time. You're at the link that I sent. I don't see you. I don't see you on here. No, don't worry if you're wasting time. We'll still go for half an hour, and this doesn't count for that. Don't worry. If you don't want to spend the time to figure this out, I could just sort of go over it here and talk to you using the chat if you would rather do that. Or if you just want to figure that out and then do the session, we can do that. It's up to you. Why isn't it working? We're trying to figure that out, Spy Fun Task. Okay, 5 more minutes. That'll work great. Hello to Paul PC Gamer and Spy Fantastic. If you want tips on efficient F2L cases, my main channel is the best place to go for that. Which video? A good one to start with would be like my 6 really important F2L cases for intermediate solvers. That would be a good place to start. I've also got one called like the most useful advanced F2L cases. And so that's those 2 are probably where you should start. Okay, Ava, I'm going to send you one more different link, and we'll see if that works. So try that link, and if it doesn't work, we'll just start doing the session this way where we talk through chat. So Ava, do you want to just do the... Oh, and Paul, if you were the one that sent me the email this morning, I replied to that. Okay, so Ava, I'm going to be talking to you through chat. I'm going to be asking you questions. There will be a little bit of delay when we talk like that, and so this session might go long, but that's fine. So I'm gonna be typing in chat because you see that right away. Wait, you have yeah, you can have 1 minute. Well, if you can figure that out, that's great. And thank you to everyone who's sticking along, even though we're having some technical difficulties. Okay, Spy Fantastic. If you average 18, then I think full PLL is something you should learn. Just straight up. You think you might be able to get it? Great. So Paul, for that, what one of my students did that worked really, really well is they had, like, I think it was her dad or a parent or a sibling or a friend or something hold the camera above their head so it looked like it was a GoPro angle, and that worked really, really well. So if you want to record a session, that's what I'd recommend. No, just straight up, you have no friends. Are you sure about that? So Ava, any update on you're getting Hangouts app? Okay. So in the meantime, why don't we go over like the first solve now, and then if you get it to work. Oh hey. How about we? Why don't we go over like? Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. So. Oh hey. Yeah, I can hear the stream through your thing. Can you?
Yeah, I'll turn it off. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that took so long. Sorry.
No worries. I'm not in any hurry. So, how long have you been cubing?
I started November last year, beginning of November.
Okay, so you're doing pretty well so far. So, this was an average of 5. You're averaging about 22 or so. Do you know exactly?
Yeah, this wasn't a good average. I warmed up for a bit and I just did like one of the first averages I did just because I didn't want to save until I got like a really good one. Just because this is like an average solve I do. Usually average 20, but this wasn't one of my better ones. But that works.
But yeah, this is fine for seeing what you can work on. Just real quick, yeah. I'm gonna put in some headphones and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll look at each of these first at full speed, then in slow motion, and I'll go over anything I see.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, you can ask me whenever.
Okay. By the way, about the camera angle, I don't know if it's good or not. It's the best I could do.
So like at some points it's not completely in frame, but it's good enough that I can tell what you're doing most of the time. So this will work.
Okay.
And obviously you're using the 354.
Yeah.
I still need to try that, honestly.
Yeah, I got it in my first competition. I prefer faster cubes, so I kind of like that one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the 356X when that comes out.
I'm just scared about the price.
Well, yeah, but lucky me, I'm sponsored, so
oh yeah,
I don't have to worry about that too much. Okay, so that was a 22. So if we look at that,
well, the first solve in there that was like kind of cut off, that was just not part of the average.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
So on this one, it looks like a pretty easy cross, nothing too difficult. And yeah, just 5 moves. That was really good. and then you go straight into this blue and orange pair. That worked really well. Then you just solve that. All of that was really nice, especially like the transition. And then you've got like two good options for a pair. You've got the red and green, and then blue and red.
Yep.
So for this, let's see what you did for. So you did the red and green, and you did basically the correct solution. You did RU to R prime, which set up to insert. But so if we go back a little bit, from this angle, this pair needs to go. Sorry, from this angle, the pair needs to go into the back right, which means if you just do a U2, then you can solve this pair into the back right without cube rotating.
Yeah, I noticed that afterwards, too.
Yeah. So it's good that you're noticing that. That's just a good way to cut down on some cube rotations. I just wasn't sure because I know a lot of people have trouble with some difficult cases in the back.
Yeah, so like this was like a few weeks ago, but I've learned more advanced F2L algorithms, so it's fixed.
Yeah. So here you have two options. You have this green and orange pair, which I probably would have done in this case, but you saw this.
Yeah.
You saw this pair, and this pair, that's actually fine, but you did like a Y2 rotation for it, which you actually could have just done that in the back.
Yeah.
So that's something that's actually a pretty simple F2L case. That's definitely worth being able to do in the back. You can do that from all angles without rotating. Same thing here. When you had blue in front, you could do this last F2L pair without cube rotating. So you solve that. Oops, I went forward a little bit, but you solve that. You do your 2-look OLL. All of that's fine. And then, let's see. And then you get an F perm. A few extra U moves there, but it's not too bad. So overall, your efficiency is pretty good. It's just some of the extra cube rotating that's holding you back. So that was solve number 1. Then let's see. So when I was watching this average earlier, I saw this block.
Yeah.
And
I think I preserved that one and I made an X cross with it, right?
Yeah, and I saw that, and like that's really good. I just wasn't sure if that was something you did on purpose or if it just accidentally happened.
Well, I think with my regular cross solution, if that even wasn't there, it would have still been in place. But
yeah,
I made sure it would.
Mm-hmm. So if you did that on purpose, that was very good. And if you did that on accident, then you got lucky. But you got a 16, so that was definitely a very good solve. So let's take a look at this again. So like I said, the cross, I would have done the cross this exact same way, and you preserved that pair. So that was very good. So then you did this pair, the red and green.
Yeah.
So you connected them and then cube rotated and solved them. So it takes a minute to spot it, but then you just connect, cube rotate, and solve.
I have a question about when it comes to inserting the back with rotation. So there's this one algorithm where you do like an I don't know the actual algorithm, but instead of it uses wide moves.
Oh, yeah.
Use that instead, or should I? Because I don't know, one's faster.
I was actually just about to mention that for if we go back to how you had that case. Let's see if there's like a good angle to show it. So if I had this case, I would have connected them with U prime and then RUR prime, and then I would have done that wide move insert into the back.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's definitely worth it for the back right, and then for the back left and the two slots in the front, maybe. But like the execution is easiest for the back right.
Yeah.
So you connect that, you solve it, and then you have your green and orange. Your edge is right there. So you just connect that and solve it. That's fine. That's good. And then you cube rotate because you see this pair. That was fine. So overall, your F2L on this solve was really good, and so was your cross. It was just you could have done the wide move insert, but that's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
So then you do two look OLL. Yeah,
When should I start learning one look OLL?
One. Do you know full PLL?
I know everything except for 3 of the G perms.
Okay, so I'd say you should learn full PLL first, and then you can start learning like the easy OLL cases. But
Okay.
you don't need to like go through and learn all of them, just the easy ones for now.
Yeah, I know most of the easy ones, like F sexy F prime and those.
Yeah.
T cases, I know those, but I don't know any of the complicated ones.
So then you can learn those like every once in a while once you know full PLL. So
Yeah.
then you get this V perm, and you do that fine. And you got a 16. So that was very nice.
So should I work? What should I work on? Should I do TPS or like algorithms or what?
So far the main thing I'm seeing is like some of the cube rotations, and then also now that you mentioned TPS, like that's not yours is pretty good, and I'm not sure like if this is you turning at like your top speed or what.
I can turn a little faster, but I'm not the fastest turner, so.
Yeah, but like I would say that your turning speed for like F2L is fine. It might be worth practicing like getting more comfortable with turning faster for algorithms like PLL and stuff.
Okay.
So here is your third solve. And I have to say, like with this solve in particular, once your look ahead got started, it was really good. Like your last two or three F2L pairs were all really fluid.
Yeah.
So if we go through and look
at 20.
Yeah. So once again, that was an excellent cross. And you got lucky enough that your first pair is set up like that, which you saw right away. And so so that was really good. And then you had a bit of a pause here. And I'm guessing that's because you solved that first pair so quickly that you didn't have time to spot anything else.
So should I like look for more pieces or?
I'm not sure if that's really something you spot those really quickly, and then it's hard to keep looking ahead when you don't have that much time. That's just a tough situation. But then eventually you did spot this pair, and then you solved that. You solved that really well. Like that's basically what I would have done. I would have maybe cube rotated the other way. Yeah, actually, let's kind of go over that. So
got into the back, so look ahead would be easier.
exactly. So from here, if you cube rotate the other way, both of your solved pairs are in the back. So both of the pairs you have to solve are in the front. Exactly. So then solve that. But in this case, your look ahead was already good enough that you already spotted this red and blue pair. And then you already spotted this green and red. So all of that was really nice. Then you do your 2-look OLO. Get a soon. Nice lefty double flick, and then you get a J perm. So all of that was really, really nice.
Okay.
It's like that. The thing I went over with like the which direction to cube rotate, that gets really helpful as you get faster. But in your case, when you already had look ahead, when you already like knew where your pair was going to be, it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
And the other thing just that I keep seeing is that your cross solutions are always really good.
Yeah, I practice cross a bit, so.
Yeah, and that's really nice. Then you get a 20. So let's take a closer look at this one. And that was really good. Then right away, you spot, I think it's going to be blue and red. Or no, you spot, yeah, green and red there. I'm surprised you spotted that, but that's a good choice. There is like an advanced F2L thing you could do for that case, but it's not that important.
What's the case? Like, what would it be?
So if I, let's see if I can get a good angle to show you. So you've got this pair, you've got the green edge in the back there that when you do a U2, you can just take out. And there's like a really weird alg with like wide U moves and stuff that can solve that pair into the front right.
Yeah.
It's like R, wide U, R prime, something. And like it's not something that I would ever use. I just like know it for some reason.
Yeah,
so you solve.
I'm not a huge fan of wide moves in F2L just because it's hard for look ahead, but
Yeah, there's
I use it in some cases.
Yeah, there's something that I've been trying to do a lot recently is when I'm inspecting and I plan my first pair in inspection, I can either like end my cross with a D move or like a wide U move, and I can choose which one of those to do so that I know that I don't have to cube rotate for my first pair, and it gets really complicated.
Okay.
So then you go right into this green and orange. That was really good. Again, you spot blue and red right away. Excellent.
I could have inserted that into the back, probably.
That was an R prime insert into the back. It was fine to cube rotate for that. And then you have this case where you have the edge flipped in its slot. And I watched you paused for this, and I think, and either you took a while to recognize this, or you intentionally picked the solution so that all of your edges would be solved.
Oh no, it just happened.
Oh, because like I know like all the different cases that will solve your edges for this kind of thing, and I was wondering if like that was something you did on purpose.
No, it was on accident.
But like, yeah, there's like like 3 or 4 different good ways to solve that case, and that's one of them, so that's fine. And then you get your pi OLL. And then you get this R perm. And so, do you know like the RUD algorithm for that R perm?
No, I don't.
I think it's better, but I don't know like how much better it would be. I can like send you the algorithm or something after the session, but it's just like a different algorithm. It's not that big of a deal, and that like as long as you're not using like the LU2 L prime U2 algorithm for that R perm, then you're fine.
Okay.
And then you solve that. So that was still a really good solve, even though it was a 20. And so then you've got just one more.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I think this is the last one.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, we're going pretty quickly just because there isn't much that I have to correct.
Yeah, that's fine.
So let's see. Okay, and a 21. So, like with this, the first thing like just that I noticed is that again you had like a bit of a pause for that case where the edge was flipped in its slot.
Yeah.
So that might be like a case that you just struggle with in general. Okay, let's see what you did for cross here. Okay, excellent. That was really nice. And then you go into this. You go into the green and red pair, and let's see what I would have done for that pair in that situation. So for this, I probably would have just disconnected them with like U prime, R, U prime, R prime, and then just connect and insert on the left. But what you did is actually fine. You've got lots of options because it's your first pair. And so then, let's see what you did. I think you did green and orange here. Yep. You solved that, and that was really good. And then here's where you had the case where it's flipped in its slot with blue and red here. And it takes you a minute to sort of recognize it and figure out what to do.
Yeah.
So is that like a case you learned recently or something?
Yeah, I learned a lot of cases where the edge is in the slot and the corner's not in the slot, so.
Yeah, and so it can be hard to like keep them all straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. And so then here's just one last sort of example of you cube rotating where you don't necessarily have to. And that's, so what you did for this, I'm not sure if I can get a great view of it, is you cube rotated and then you move down the corner. But what you can do from this angle, because your only open slot is in the back left, you can move down the edge and do L, U prime, L prime to move over the corner and then just solve the pair.
Yeah, I never thought of that. I always thought about hiding the corner instead. But
yeah, that's something that I've seen a lot where people only don't realize that there's more than one way to hide corners and edges like that. It can be really useful in your solves. But it turns out, like the way you did it, you also solved all your edges accidentally, so that worked out fine as well. Yep. But in general, it's good to avoid the cube rotations. So then you get this OLL, and you also get your corners solved. And then you do then you have a counterclockwise U-perm.
And I learned a new algorithm for that one with the M moves instead.
Yeah, that's the one I use.
Yeah, so it's faster than that one.
Yeah, either one can work. Like, I'm pretty sure Felix and Max both use the RU one, so either one can work.
Okay.
So overall, like I've been saying, you have like 95% of your fundamentals really solid. Your efficiency in cross and F2L is excellent. Your last layer is really good, and you have a lot of good habits and hardly any bad ones.
Okay. So what should I work on?
So, like I said, the only thing I could find were so that one case where the edge is slipped in its slot that you need to just get used to more. That you just keep cubing and that'll get better. And then it's the cube rotations. And you actually, it's not as bad for you as it is for some others because you don't like cube rotate to look for pieces. The only time you cube rotate is because you think you have to solve a case.
Yeah.
And so a lot of fixing that is just like watching walkthrough solves and seeing what other people can do to solve cases, because sometimes they know how to solve the case without cube rotating when you don't.
Yeah. I learned a lot of I learned most of my F12 algs from not actual algorithms but walkthrough solves. So
yeah, that's a really good strategy.
From JPerm usually.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So on the thing I filled out before the training session, it said practice techniques.
Yeah.
So what should I do to practice? Just
so with practice, for the cube rotations, what you can also do is look at let's see, how do I want? So you can do untimed solves, and in between each F2L pair, sort of think more about it and experiment a little bit to see if there's different ways to solve it where you don't have to cube rotate.
Okay.
And there's actually a technique that you can do to tell whether you have to cube rotate or not. And it's hard to explain without like visuals, but I can send a link that sort of explains that trick.
Okay.
So overall, you're doing great. Just keep up the practice and you'll be sub 20 in no time.
Okay. Thanks for the session.
No problem. So if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me, and I'll send you the recording once it's done processing.
Okay. Well, thanks for the session.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.